Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, that was very, very weak.
Can we try that again?
Very weak. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. That's
Thank
more
you.
like
Yes,
it.
that's more like it. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I know we introduced ourselves in the lobby, but I'm going to do it again just in case you are coming in. I am Rabbi Rachel Schmelkin. I'm the newest member of the clergy team here at Washington Hebrew, and I'm joined on the bima with Cantor Hamstra, who's going to introduce the rest of everybody sitting up here.
So, as we so often do, we are blessed to be joined by our music director, David Lang, on the piano, by Daniel Brown on the bass, by Joey Antico on percussion, by Matvey Sigalov on violin, and we have a guest with us tonight. How lucky we are to be joined by Alex Baker, who is a first-year rabbinic and cantorial student who unfortunately had to come home in the middle of year in Israel because of the war, but we are so lucky that the benefit of that is that we get to welcome Shabbat with him tonight and to celebrate together. And hopefully he will be going back very soon. Please God.
January. Right?
January.
So in a moment, and in a moment is the key here, because usually when we do this, you already turn to the person next to you and you start talking. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you, and I want you to talk about an everyday miracle that you experienced this week. So we're just on the heels of Hanukkah. We've been thinking about the miracle of the oil of light. And so what's an everyday miracle that you experienced in the last week? Ready? Go.
They waited for instructions this time. I've never seen that before. They always start talking before we finish asking them the question. But we always start with some sort of icebreaker open question just to get people.
Nice. It's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does this compare to how many people usually, like the regulars?
2/3.
Oh, really?
The typical Friday night. Yeah.
Everybody's tired out from Hanukkah?
We had like almost 600 people here last Friday night for Shabbat Hanukkah. So I think a lot of people maybe aren't here tonight. Plus, a lot of people have already started their vacations. So this is like small, but not great. So I was saying this is like 2/3 of our usual Friday night.
Probably because there were 500 people.
Oh yeah, that's what I was
People are
saying.
sick too.
Oh yeah, and traveling. Yeah, Alex was asking what our normal numbers are. So. All right.
Yeah. You're going to sing us out of this? Yes.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
What a blessing, what a gift to be able to greet Shabbat together, to be able to breathe in the peace of Shabbat. I don't know about you, but my week was a little frenetic. And I am so grateful that we have built into every week a day designated to slowing down, a day designated to being present, being aware, being with people that we love, being with family and community, and an opportunity to focus on the most important things. And so we do that through prayer, through song, through meals, through whatever it might be. And in this moment, we breathe in that big, big, deep breath of Shabbat peace with Zamru Ladonai on page 16.
Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Bekozimra, on page 17 with Romamu, and we actually are in the second paragraph, the second half of the second paragraph, so we hope you'll join us. Romamu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu, ve'yishtachavu lehadom raglav kadoshu. Romamu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. So I just was thinking as I was sitting up here, and some of you may already know this, but there's a big Jewish conference in DC this weekend. The URJ is celebrating 150 years of Reform Judaism in America. Yes, yes, I'm correct about this.
The URJ, formerly known as the UAHC.
Yes, okay. And there are about 1,000, is the number I last heard, Reform Jews from all over the country and even other parts of our world who have come here to celebrate and be together. Rabbi Shankman is there right now with members of this congregation. And so it's always a powerful idea when we think about sitting together on Shabbat and knowing that we are singing prayers and singing melodies with so many others who are doing the exact same thing at almost the exact same time that we're doing it. And tonight, it's powerful for me and maybe for you as well to think about these 1,000 proud Reformed Jews who have come together in our city, probably only a few miles away from here, singing these same prayers that we're singing tonight, and maybe even coming to Lachad Odi right around this very moment too. And so we're on page 20, and we will be joining together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And we will rise and face the door as we come to the last verse. Lechad Odi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechad Odi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Shamo v'zachor v'ribur Uri uri shir tabechi kevod Adonai alayich nigar
Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lecha dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela Boi v'shalom ateret bala גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי עלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה. B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechat dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechat dodi likrat kala B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechat dodi likrat kala We continue with our call to worship on page 28.
This is one that we did months and months ago for Pride Shabbat, and we haven't done it since, and
it's
I've
so
been
good.
missing it.
It's so good.
So,
You're gonna love it.
even if all you join in on is the do-do-do's because you haven't sung it in 7 months and you don't remember it, it's okay. It'll come back, and as it comes back, join in. Try it with me.
join me on page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 32.
Beit Yisrael, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Aken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu u'b'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Beit Yisrael, ancha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, this joy will last forever.
Ahavat olam.
Beit Yisrael, ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, le'olam va'ed. We continue seated on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And we now join on page 40 in our freedom song, the Michamocha.
On page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael va'al Yerushalayim.
Torah tells us that on the seventh day, God rested and refreshed. Shabbat vayinafash. And so I encourage you to try and think about this next prayer that we do, Vishamru, along those lines. What does it mean to refresh after the work week? And we join together on page 44 with Vishamru. Hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shameru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'dorotam berit olam u'vayom hashvi'i Rabbi in college used to make it was like a competition every Friday night to see who could hold that last the longest. So sometimes I just revert. Well, you won.
We turn.
Oh. I thought it was. You go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right.
Oh, great. We can't read our service outlines here. We are going to turn to page 46 for the Amidah, and we will rise together. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot v'Imavot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע.
משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, בנאמנת להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום מהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue on page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who
Hunger find fulfillment
on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. You can be seated. So now is, well, I was going to say my favorite part of the service, but I feel like every part of the service here is my favorite part of the service. But one part of the service of the many that I really like is when we share simchas. Thank you for laughing with me, not at me, Ricky. We are going to take a moment to share some of the simchas, some of the joys that have happened in our lives over the last week or the last few weeks since you were last here. And so if you have one to share, I will invite you to lift your hand up in the air, and I'll call on you. And after you share, we will all say, Modim anachnu lach. Let's try that. Modim anachnu lach. For this we give thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, today we had our Secret Santa.
Today we had Secret Santa. Beautiful. Modim anachnu lach. Yeah.
I got a huge surprise and a blessing. My mother didn't want to go into memory care. She was very resistant. It was extremely difficult. The hardest thing I've ever done in my life during the summer. And she called me the other night to say how much she loves it.
Oh, wow. Wow. So for a change of heart and following what you know to be right sometimes. Modim anachnu lach. Yeah.
Last night of Hanukkah, Dad and Jeremy got me a nice Kiddush cup.
Oh, beautiful. For celebrating Hanukkah and for ritual items that help us to elevate our Judaism. Modim
Modim
anachnu
anachnu
lach.
lach.
Yes.
My great-grandma Sylvia turned 100 years old.
Wow. For
Admei Vesrim.
let's repeat this one for 100th birthdays. Modim
Modim
anachnu lach.
We say Admei Vesrim, or as they say in Israel, Admei Esrim. Not just to 120, but to 100 as if it were 20.
Yes.
My daughter finished her last final of the semester, and she gets to come home tomorrow, so I get to see my kid who's coming back from college.
Oh, for college kids coming home. Modim anachnu lach. Right now I'm like, when do I get a break? They're 4.5 and 1.5, but I know that I will reach this day where that is very exciting. So for all of these wonderful, did I miss a hand? Did you want to share something? Please, you'll be our last one. Oh, praying together with our families. Modim anachnu lach. We can say together on page 59. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'ed lehodot.
And of course, while so many of us come here with joys to share, some of us also come here with burdens burdens that we might need help carrying. And so we take a moment to pray for healing for anyone in our community, anyone we may be caring for, even if it is ourselves, in need of healing this evening, this Shabbat. And the reason we share these is to offer strength through prayer, but also please let us know if you are supporting someone who is ill so that we can reach out and help you support them. That is why we are in community. That is why we come together, so that we can celebrate the good and help in the hard times. So as my eyes come around the room, please share any names of people for whom you are praying for healing. For all these names shared aloud and for all the names we hold in our hearts, we turn to page 253 and join together. So as we've been sharing a prayer for Israel each week since October 7th, every Shabbat, evening and morning, because Alex is going back so soon, we hope and pray, and that there will be peace in the land enough for him to safely go back with all of the other first-year rabbinic and cantorial students. I asked him if he would share his own prayer for Israel this evening. And so, please.
Source of all life, bestow your blessing of peace and redemption upon the state of Israel. Inspire us with knowledge to be the sages of our own time. Teach us to pass on the wisdom you imparted upon our ancestors who were brought out of Egypt to settle in the Promised Land, as well as the waves of immigrants whose commitment to the future of the Jewish people established the state of Israel 75 short years ago. Grant us courage to be the defenders of the Jewish homeland. Help us honor the fallen who spent their last drops of life ensuring the continuity of their beloved home and the safety of their compatriots. We too must promise to fight for and uphold the ideals of democracy and justice upon which our shared vision of a nation was founded. Imbue us with divine understanding so that we may be moral leaders among our peers and exemplars of integrity as we share with the world our hope for a bright future for Israel and her inhabitants. God of all being, unify us so that our prayers may grow together and multiply, rising to the very heights of heaven. Bless us and all Israel underneath the shelter of your peace, and let us say, Amen.
Amen.
We continue with our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. בטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We continue silently with the words of our prayer book or the words of our hearts. As some of you know, I spent 10 summers of my childhood and young adulthood at a Jewish overnight camp in Zionsville, Indiana. Zionsville, it's a good one. At my camp, Friday evenings concluded with songs around a campfire and a folk story told by our director, Rabbi Ron Klotz. I always listened closely to the stories, well, almost always, drawing meaning and inspiration from them. The 12 to 13-year-old time period might have been a little less listening, a little more other things. On this dark and coldish winter evening, just after the last lights of Hanukkah have gone out, I would like to bring the warmth and light of summer to you with a campfire story. Long ago, in Eastern Europe, lived a simple and pious man named Reb Yitzhak. He was dedicated to his family and always went out of his way to provide for them. Still, they were rich in spirit, but very poor in possessions. Each Shabbat afternoon, as the sun began to set, Reb Yitzhak, who always did so much for his family, did something very simple for himself. He took a walk alone in the woods. It was during this time that Reb Yitzhak communed with nature and with God. This music stand doesn't want to cooperate with me, but we'll keep going. Every week, Reb Yitzhak strolled the same path, listening to the birds, looking up at the treetops and down at the crunching leaves under his feet. He always returned by sunset to help his family prepare for the week ahead. But one Shabbat afternoon, while on his stroll, something strange happened. He looked up at the treetops. He looked down at the leaves crunching beneath his feet. He looked out at the path around him, and suddenly, everything looked unfamiliar. The clouds gathered up above. The day became dark and gloomy. Reb Yitzhak realized that he had lost his way. The more he tried to return to a familiar place, to figure out where he was going, to figure out where he had come from, the more lost he became. He was frightened and began to tremble. He looked out and noticed a clearing in the woods. But as he approached the clearing, he realized that it didn't look familiar either. He continued to walk because he heard a sound, a beautiful and haunting melody. He walked toward the sound, and it grew louder and louder. Reb Yitzhak found a group of men sitting in a circle, singing, talking, and drinking wine. Reb Yitzhak started to sway gently to the nigun, but then realized that the men were looking at him funny. If only Reb Yitzhak had noticed sooner. They saw him swaying and singing to their music, and they surrounded him and grabbed him. "You're a spy," they shouted. "We'll deal with you later." They tied him to a tree and went back to singing their wordless song. Though Reb Yitzhak's life was in danger, he was mesmerized by the music, transfixed by the building harmonies. Reb Yitzhak grounded himself in the music, and after many hours of drinking, all of the men who had tied him up fell asleep. Reb Yitzhak quietly wiggled his way out of the ropes they'd used to tie his hands and legs, and he snuck away. My, what a moving melody I have learned. A prayer, really, even amid such a treacherous scene. I hope I never forget it, Reb Yitzhak thought. He began to hum it over and over again. All of a sudden, the path became clear once again, and there before Reb Yitzhak's eyes was the field by his village. As he made his way to his house, he sang. His wife, his children, and his neighbors all gathered around and cried, "Reb Yitzhak, where have you been?" But all he could do was sing. His wife approached him. "Yitzhak, what's wrong with you? Why don't you say hello? We didn't know where you were." The truth was, even though Reb Yitzhak was home, he didn't know where he was either. So he just continued singing. His children clung to him and said, "Papa, what's going on?" He sang and sang and sang some more. And so it went on like that, not only hour upon hour, but day upon day. His family took him to the doctor, to the cantor, to the town elders, but nobody knew how to treat Reb Yitzhak for his seeming loss of mind. Eventually, the cantor, the doctor, the town elders, even Reb Yitzhak's wife, gathered together and decided to send Reb Yitzhak to the next village where there were doctors who treated those who had lost their souls. Reb Yitzhak's family packed a bag and took him to the village square. They didn't understand how he had gotten so lost. The carriage arrived. The villagers lifted Reb Yitzhak up to seat him in it, and he waved to his family again and sang the wordless song. The carriage rolled out of the village square, but before it turned the corner, Reb Yitzhak heard one of his daughters begin to sing. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai. Reb Yitzhak's wife joined with his other children until the entire village lifted their voices in song. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai. Stop the carriage, Reb Yitzhak cried out. Yitzhak, is that you? Is that really you? Did you speak? You haven't spoken in weeks, his wife said. Of course it's me, Reb Yitzhak replied. I've been lost. This melody is all I've been able to feel, to understand. And I've been afraid that this inspiration of my prayer to God might be lost forever, right along with me. I needed to keep it going. And now that we have shared it together, I'm not lost anymore. I don't have to carry it alone. The driver smiled and turned the carriage around, and everybody sang together. What does this story come to teach us? All of us become lost sometimes. All of us meet others who are lost sometimes. As we make our way through these dark days of winter, at this dark time in Jewish history, I hope we remember that even when we feel lost, there is a melody that can help us until we find our way again. And when we see others who are lost, we can try to meet them where they are, listen to their melody, and join them in their songs. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada We rise for the Aleinu on page 282.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We can be seated. So I wasn't planning to share this evening, but I want to now, which is that on Wednesday, my great aunt passed away. Her name was Esther, and she was an amazing woman. She was, I think she was 91, and she has had dementia for a few years now and has come in and out of knowing who people are in our family. And I got really lucky in September. I happened to FaceTime my mom with my 1.5-year-old daughter. And my mom was visiting my aunt. And she didn't know who I was. She definitely didn't know who my daughter was, but she was very happy to see me on the screen and to see little Lila on the screen. And my mom started talking to my aunt saying, you know, that there's a Yiddish melody that my great-grandmother used to sing to, I believe, her children, and then also my grandmother and my aunt sang that to their children. And my mom started to sing this Yiddish song, and my aunt remembered it. It was really beautiful. And so I was singing it on FaceTime at the same time that my mom and my aunt were singing it. And I say this to say that there are all of these different ways that people that we have lost live through us and live in us. And I know now that every time I hear that Yiddish melody, Yiddish song, or sing that melody, or sing it to my daughter, I'm going to think, I already thought about my great-grandmother, and now I'm going to think about my Aunt Esther, too. And so as we think of those who are no longer with us here tonight, I invite you to remember the song. What's the song that they sing through you that brings them close to you? So tonight, our Washington Hebrew congregation is remembering the anniversaries of the deaths of Anita Abrams, Seymour Chaucer Alenier, Edith Askin, Benny Bass, Sarah B. Barriston, Abraham Bergman, Pauline Berliner, William Bindeman, Yetta M. Brandt, Goldie Brown, Max Buckman, Bernice Hurwitz Buckman, Luis L. Burka, Lester Leon Burtnick, Rena L. Cohen, Rose N. Cohen, Joseph R. Cohn, Donald S. Colby, Burton M. Cooper, Louis Davis, Alan Dessoff, Max Dick, Donald Doty, Francis E. Dove, Louis Bernheimer Ehrman, Florence Kirstein Ellman, Edwin N. Epstein, Seth Erlbacher, Leah Feitel, Israel S. Feld, Jenny Feld, Ruth Leon Fogel, Louis N. Frank, Kenneth H. Gensberg, Marion Helene Goodman Goldstein, Bertha Greenfeld, Gertrude Greenspoon, Lily D. Grover, Ann G. Haas, Sarah Kurtz Hirschman, Ann E. S. Jacobs, Michael Jacobs, S. Harrison Kahn, Bernard Kansteroom, Mary Kaplan, Joyce W. Kellner, Lawrence Kirstein, Sadie Kirstein, Fred S. Kogod, Homer Laboret, Bessie A. Levitin, Janice S. Lewenthal, Clara Strauss-Loeb, Elias Lustig, Harry J. Milton, Julius Meyerberg, Moore Newwald, Lisa Oppenheim, Minna W. Pasternak, Donald S. Perlman, Leon April Pincus, Rachel Rabinowitz, Charles S. Rakusin, Mark A. Robinson, Marion Pressman, Stuart Evan Ross, Philip H. Sagan, Nada V. Skeletter, Molly Cohen Schechter, Donald F. Schwartz, Herman Max Schwartz, Marvel Gail Shapiro, Oscar M. Sklar, Harry Slay, Joan Cookie Solomon, Gabrielle Stent, Bertram Strober, Arthur J. Sundlam, Bernard Harry Topkiss, Naomi Vidgerhaus, Fanny Vodenlich, Joanne Levy Wasserman, Harry S. Wender, Judith Yackerson, and Janet Elaine Ziffer. We also remember those who were recently laid to rest: Adrian Dunn Bellinger, Herb Shankman, Robert Fischel, Damian Surratt, Erica Morgenstern, Lester Lee, Marvin Kay, Howard Goldberg, Theodore Neuvelt, Charlene Rose, and Mark Selinger. If I mispronounced one of these names, or if you have a name to add to the list, I invite you to do so as I look around the room. We rise as one community for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294.
Yitgadal,
V'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'omad Yivrach Urutei V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chai Yechon U'vyom Echon U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael,
V'agala
V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'lamei Amaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Kudashah B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And we can be seated. I'm going to invite Lori Wise up to share some announcements. And you have a microphone there. Those so the live stream can hear you.
Just make sure it's turned on.
You want me to check for you? Okay. We're suddenly all sound technicians here.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I think your coaching helped. You told them it was weak and it got stronger.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Lori Wise, and it's my privilege and an honor to sit on the board of directors of this temple. We have several upcoming Israel-related events, and I want to tell you about them, but I can't memorize this, so bear with me while I read. At 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, the 17th, the day after tomorrow, it's the URJ's Evening of Solidarity in downtown D.C. On the 18th, Monday, also at 7 o'clock, is Temple Conversation on Israel with Rabbi Shankman and Ambassador Tom Nides? Nides. Thank you. And then on Friday, December 29th, we come together as we usher in Shabbat as a community with our Community Shabbat service, hosted this year by our neighbors at Us Israel. These messages encourage you to take a copy of this brochure you may have seen out there. And it also encourages you to use the QR code for more information. But since a lot of us don't know how to use QR codes, I'm going to show you. This at the bottom is a QR code. And for those of you who may not know, don't be embarrassed to admit it. I learned this very recently. You just hold your camera as if you were going to take a picture, hover over that QR code, and a little URL will come up, a website. You touch it, and it will take you directly to the temple website and to all sorts of other information besides what's printed on the paper. So that's how you get all the details, the inside scoop. Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush together. This is a moment when we remember the miracle of the Exodus and celebrate our freedom. It means more now than ever before. We invite all children who are present, all one or two of you. There's a few. I see you over there. We invite you all to come forward and lead us in the Kiddush, or help us with the Kiddush. May the vision of these young people give us strength, pride, and hope in a brighter future. So not to put anyone on the spot, but I see one young man here. And do we have any more kids?
We won't force you to
have
come,
one
but we do
here.
like you to be here.
And Tommy was here too, but I think he might have needed a little break from sitting.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're glad to have you join us. Come on up.
absolutely.
I was looking for these.
There we go.
Juice.
All right.
Okay, that napkin's
And so
gonna
as soon as
fall.
we get some Kiddush cups to these kids, we will join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. Okay. Thank you.
Would you like to take the cover off of the challah, or would you like to just continue with your juice? It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Will you help me by taking the challah cover off? Go for it. There we go. And so we'll join together in the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, the motzi. Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. And we're going to give these both to Miss Agnes. And if you two would stay here, Rabbi, can we use your tallis?
Sure. Yeah, it's never big enough, but tonight it is.
Tonight it is.
Yes. And you can come stand underneath it. I'll lift my arms up. No, you're not taller than me, but you might be.
You might be the same height or slightly taller, maybe. These are words of ancient words of blessing that parents use to bless children week in and week out, Shabbat in and Shabbat out, and we get the privilege of blessing the children in our community as clergy of Washington Hebrew each Shabbat. And so we say, Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God be gracious to you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך, וישם לך shalom.
May God's presence be with you, and may God grant you wholeness and peace. And we all say,
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming up.
You can take your cups. You don't have to carry those back. And so we will conclude on page 321 with the Adon Olam that always brings me back to Shabbatot in Tel Aviv, watching the sunset over the Mediterranean Ocean. We join together. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Nasa B'chefso Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Be'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yeh B'Tifarach Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Nasa B'chefso Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Be'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hoveh Ve'hu Yeh B'Tifarach והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשיל לו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ללא העוז והיזרע. והוא אלי וחי עולי, בצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוסי, ורק כוסי ביום הרע. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, ואין עשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי כלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. לידו אקיד רוחי, בעת ישאל מהעירה, ואם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון ידוע אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי כלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא יהיה בתפארה. Shabbat Shalom.